What is up, my people? So doing another training video here today. I'm gonna keep running on these kind of training tips in regards to certain body parts of the day. So I want to talk to you about my top 3 hamstring focused exercises that I'm doing right now that I really like and I'm running into the ground. So we'll go over each one of those, kind of what the sets and reps are on that, and then any intensifiers with it as well, because we got to make it tough. And then, you know, you can use these on your own, try them out, and see what you think of them. All right, first thing is with this seated hamstring curl, which is our #1 exercise, is you need to make sure your setup is correct.
No shit.
So very first thing you need to do is make sure you are getting into the seat correctly so that you're having enough room out in front of you to finish your legs down. So what I like to think here is your knees need to at least be over this part because you need to be able to curl it underneath you and squeeze. So I usually like to set this so that my knees are slightly over the end of the seat. So then, like I said, so you can flex, you can move at that knee joint and finish that hamstring movement. The pad on the top here that you're actually driving through, right on the Achilles area, right below the calf. That way you can really pin it down and hold it there with a strong movement. So finally, this is gonna be a big factor, because what I'm thinking in my head here is we're driving our quads into this top pad, and it's obviously not gonna move. It's gonna be secured down here really tight. And while you're driving up, you're squeezing down and curling here. So the movement is like drive into the pad, and at the same motion, you're curling through and working this hamstring portion right here. So things to remember on this movement is you're keeping your hips down. So I don't want to see your butt lift off the chair at all. So what I do is I almost kind of push into this. They have handles here, whatever. I actually kind of grip the top, and I kind of actually push with the palms of my hands, and so I can set my hips back. So I'm kind of pushing through here, so my butt is stable and sit, because like I said, the only thing you want moving here is that your knee joint, and that's just using your hamstrings to curl down this movement. So nothing, you don't want anything moving in your glute area, your back area, you're not swinging. So I'm locked in here tight, and I'm just getting down and squeeze and hold. My tempo there is I'm kind of thinking 1 down, a quick pause in the hole as long as you can. It's gonna be very hard, and then 2 seconds back up. So a contraction down 1, and then a 2 eccentric back up. All right, so how we're gonna set this up, we got our warm-ups in where, three good progressing warm-up sets there. So now I feel like I'm ready to really push it now. So this I typically, if you ever wonder how do I set up, your top sets, or what I call your feeder sets, your warm sets, your top sets. So, those first 3 or whatever I consider warm-ups. I'm not going all out on there. So now I'm gonna do my first top set. So a working set, whatever you want to call it, and it's gonna be all out. So I picked a weight there that, I'm thinking anywhere between 8 to 12 is gonna be the rep range. That's how hard it's gonna be. And then I'm just, goal is to get as many as I can. I'll have at the end here, maybe have a little bit of partner assistance to get the last couple reps or something, that last little squeeze. But it's still, trying to get as many as I can fully on my own. Today we'll probably do 2 working sets here, just straight sets like that. So we'll do a first one here, like I said, and it'll base off if I either, if I get 12 here pretty easy, not easily, but like, I'm actually surprised they got 12 plus there, then I might go up a little bit more for my second one. So kind of just determine on that right here as we move forward. And then we'll do some kind of finisher for a 3rd top set today. I'm starting to throw in a little bit more, finishers or some kind of intensifiers that you call them. So maybe a drop set, or, like I said, a stretch pause, which is what we like to do in here. So we'll get the first 2 done here, and I'll come back here on the last one. Yep. Hip. Yes, sir. Hip. Yes, sir. Oh. Ow. Yeah, that's good. So we got the 2 top sets in there. Like I said, the first 2 straight sets. I got like 12 for that first one with a little assistance. So I actually went 10 pounds heavier slightly, and then went for 10. I got 10 on that second round. So now I want to throw in, like I said, an intensifier here. So they're already feeling pretty damn good now. We got a lot of blood in there. So let's do something here to kind of stretch them out, slow it down, and really squeeze everything way out on this last exercise of this movement here, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do a stretch pause. similar to a rest pause, but when you're resting, you're actually stretching here. I love doing it on this setup because you can really get a good stretch on your hamstrings. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna shoot for 10. So obviously you wanna go lower weight. So I'm cutting the weight here probably by like 40%, something like that, 30, 40%. And then I'll do 10 reps here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna let myself stretch. So I'm actually gonna have my partner, Zach here, he's gonna push up. I'm gonna let it go as high as it can. I probably could just let it go and you can do it yourself and be fine there. But I'm actually gonna have him provide a little bit more resistance and push it up so it's really, really stretching my hamstrings. So I wanna feel that burn, I really wanna feel that stretch. And then after 12 seconds, so I'll count to 12 slowly in my head, focus on breathing here, and then I'll go again. With that second round, I'll go to failure. Then I'll stretch again for another 12 seconds, and that third round I'll go to failure. So, like I said, 10 reps, stretch for 12, failures reps, stretch for 12, failure reps. So it should be something like 10, 8, 6, something like that if you're doing it right and getting the weight right, because it's gonna progressively get heavier. And so this is just a really good way to push yourself past failure with small increments of rest. Except for this, for this we're actually stretching while we're resting, but it's still rest in regards to breathing. So we're getting some more oxygen, getting some more blood flow, and then we're going again. 3, 2, 1.
Work, bro. Until you can. Come on. Until you can.
Here we go. 3. A little tad light, but that made it even worse because I had to do more reps. All right, hamstring exercise number 2. And this is kind of a unique one. Not a lot of people, you don't see many people do this one. If you watch my stuff in the past, you've seen me do this often. Not so much lately, but I did in the past quite a bit. I really, really like this. So what it is actually slightly elevated, but lying leg curl. But what we're using is a dumbbell. So we're actually placing a dumbbell in between my feet. We're keeping our knees close together there, so adductors together. And then all you're doing is you're keeping your hips down into the bench and you're curling up the dumbbell that while you balance it, and you're curling it through your hamstrings. I like this one specifically because, it's not just you're just using the machine and you can get sloppy. All you have to do is get it up. This one you actually have to balance that dumbbell in between your legs. So you're using all those other muscles that are around your hamstrings, to stabilize.
Got it?
Yeah.
Ready? Come on.
One more.
Finish, bro. Let's go. Squeeze. Squeeze.
Just. So with this one, like I said, this is more of like either a second or third movement of the day. So really want to run our first movement like the seated hamstring curls into the ground. And then after you're already tired, after you're already beat up a little bit, come to these, because then it really makes you focus. You have to focus on that eccentric portion. You have to focus on controlling through, keeping your butt down. As that first round I could feel it, so I got to really get my hips through. So make sure you do that. Like I said, do these when you're tired, because you're going to feel them so much more, and it really finishes them off. Exercise, hamstring exercise number 3. All right, this is a little bit of a special one, so I gotta explain a lot here. But what I was doing is I was doing a lot of stiff legs or RDLs off of the ground. So off the ground with the barbell. What I was noticing was as I got lower, I started, obviously with my flexibility right now and just my range of motion in general, I was really bending my knees at the end. So whenever I was off the ground, I'd have to bend my knees. I have to activate my glutes first, and then in my hamstrings, then in my low back. So really, I was just feeling in my glutes and my low back area. And today, being hamstring specific, it being a hamstring exercise, what we're doing here now is we actually put some, boxes, or just elevated our barbell path. So we have boxes out here. They're probably 5-6 inches, 4 or 5 inches. And that's all you need. Just take out that lower portion of using my glutes and having to bend my knees. So now I can just focus on keeping my knees straight, putting the butt straight back, resting it on the box, and then when I'm pulling through, I don't have to bend my knees to activate through. All I have to do is just squeeze my hamstrings and lift up. So this minimizes the area. So think we're taking out that bottom 4 inches, but then now we can only focus on loading our hamstrings. So I'm actually never losing that tension. I pause real quick on the bottom, still flexing. I squeeze through the top, squeeze my glutes, lower it controlled, pause it on the box, back through. So this really just focuses on that area, because if you're doing like a deadlift or full range of motion, you're gonna get your low back, your glutes, your hams. What we wanna do with this movement is just focus on our hamstrings. So by doing this, we can really isolate them here. And I really, really like this because you can really slow it down and get everything out of it. So try this for your next stretch, pulling movement. Let me know what you think. Yeah, it's good.
Come on, Brett. Finish. Finish. Come on.
Whew, I did it. What was the video about today?
What video? Hamstrings.
What about hamstrings?
There's 3 of them.
That's actually true.
You said it. Top 3 hamstrings are done. So, like I said, a little bit different there. I wanted to show you exactly the ones I've been doing because they are a little bit different than normal everyday stuff you see in the gym. So, like I said, of course, we started with the bread and butter with the seated hamstring curl machine. And then we went to the dumbbell lion leg curls, which are unique and killer in themselves. Then finally, I showed you a different way to do a stiff leg RDL variation. With it, elevated on the boxes so that we were only isolating our hamstrings. So we took our low back, took our glutes out of it, and then we just only hit our hamstrings. So again, like I said, those are my top 3 as of now. I want you guys to try these all, comment on what you like about them. Give me some other ideas if you have something that you really like for hamstrings, and I can try it out next time and give you feedback on that. But for now, give that a try. Let me know what you think. Keep on commenting, keep on loving, keep on liking. We'll see you next time.
I was trying to really think when you pointed 3. I was like,
Top 3.
and I had to feel myself. 3 heads. Wow.